Hello, and welcome to Converting Face-to-Face Chemistry Courses to Online Courses by Raylan Marlett, Andrea Love, Joshua Ansa, and Tanner Morrison.
Our team was hired to help a university convert their chemistry courses to online format in order to provide students with more time in the labs. We employed a five-phase model for our project, which is define, plan, organize, control, and close. To ensure the project goal is achieved for this project, we formulated 6 objectives for several major milestones that must be achieved to launch the converted face-to-face chemistry courses into 3 different online formats. First, an instructor-facilitated online course. Second, a partially instructor-facilitated and partially self-directed online course. And third, a fully self-directed online course by September of 2024, which is the start of fall semester. Success criteria and assumptions and risks relevant to our project were outlined too. In the second phase, plan, we translated our 6 objectives into working tasks, or WBS, estimated how much each of them will take, identified the critical path of the whole project, and developed a project proposal for the client. The critical path is considered the sequence of activities with the longest estimated completion time for the project to be completed as expected. In our WBS, 18 tasks were arranged in the order they need to follow for the successful completion of the assignment and show which of those activities can be done at the same time as other activities and hence relatively independent of each other. In our project proposal, we stated that the overall project will be completed within the time frame using our proposed instructional solution and using the necessary resources that the client and sponsor will provide.
The plan phase of the project, the estimated time for completion is 1.5 years, which is 18 months. But there was a client request to complete the project 20% earlier than discussed. So it brought the completion to 15 months. The plan looked at the work breakdown structure, which described the activities of various teams and estimated time to give details of the time frame for each activity. The critical path and Gantt chart was used to illustrate the project schedule for each of the team members.
For the third phase, organize, here is a quick look at how the organizational chart and recruiting criteria look like in our actual project management plan, as well as how we assigned work packages. The project organizational chart identifies who and how team members will work and interact with each other. For the selection of the best candidates to work in the management and development of converting courses to online, several different personnel will be needed to best execute the project. The work packages are organized with an intent to utilize the skills and talents of each member in our team. As shown, they were assigned according to the skills and the tasks of project leadership team, ID team specialists, and chemistry department personnel that need to be completed by a certain schedule.
This RACI chart deems who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed on each step of this project. For each task, we've assigned a person or a team to be responsible. This means they're directly in charge of getting the work done. Accountable, which means overseeing the task completion, although they might not be the person doing the work. Consulted, which means they may have input or would review and sign off on the work before it's delivered. And informed. This is the person who might be informed about progress. They might have information they need to know about that step, but they're not actually involved in being responsible for that project's completion. Let's take a closer look at our RACI chart. One example is the digital team's involvement in our overall project. They do not need to be responsible for the curriculum, but they do need to be informed so that they can use it to develop the digital content. On the right, under the green column, you can see for Phase 2 and Phase 3, the digital team is only informed about the progress. It isn't until Phase 5 when they are responsible for completing their first work task. The Gantt chart was developed as a management tool for project management team as well as the client and sponsor. The Gantt chart below shows the duration of the major project activities in the time continuum. This chart will serve as the primary tool for the project as it illustrates the project schedule, the relationship between activities, the responsible lead for each activity, completion status for each activity, the start and end periods for each activity, and any schedule variances that may have affected the project's schedule. Please note this Gantt chart introduces the new technology as part of the enhanced digital content phase. This phase has time because the videos will take longer and we can't really start the next step until they're both complete. Our timeline is less than 80% of the original project plan, meeting the second request from the stakeholders. Part of the control phase of this project is to keep the project on the ideal timeline and assess risk. A management plan is in place to deal with issues that might come up throughout the project. Part of the Gantt chart is a variance report. This means that people will report to their team leader, who then report to the project manager about their work completed in relation to the timeline. We've also identified some issues that might come up and plans to help the teams work through those issues. Our management style should be affiliated, so the manager acts as a background support and is there to check in on progress and barriers from time to time. We are deadline driven to focus heavily on the project's timeline, and we want our teams to be coercive. That means our manager manages the team according to their own objectives, as a supportive role.
The close phase. The close is the beginning of the end of the project. At this phase, all project documents are put together and a final report is prepared and a presentation is made. The presentation is shown to all stakeholders. The client sign off the project agreement. This is the phase where team members meet and discuss about the success and failures using all the checklists. This is to praise success and to look for areas of future improvement. At this phase 2, there's an audit report which will be post-implementation audits.
There were a few issues that came up in the production of the plan. Firstly, the client wanted to insert a brand new technology into the project. In order to accommodate this, we hired an additional expert for the team. Next, the client wanted the project done about 20% faster. This caused us to cut all projects by about 20% across the board. We also brainstormed a few possible issues that could come up. The ways we dealt with these future problems was by creating a communication chain, which included monthly lead meetings, weekly staff meetings, and weekly reports. All of this information will be used to create a project variance report by the lead instructional designer. This will be used to allocate resources in order to get the project back on track and to have meetings and other such things with those who are falling behind. Thank you for listening.